Because I know Alpha normally gets on. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get the. I am not prepared. This is unlike me. And my external hard drive is derping out. So you know what? No theme song this time. So this is. Oh, now it decides to.
Just opens up.
You know what? Screw it.
Wow, you have a separate folder from me.
Yes. Of your art.
Except I don't really have much art of you though.
Oh.
You only sent me like a few pictures for like references and it's like what the...
Oh, there it is.
No.
Oh, hello, Taco Cat. Okay, now let's start the Zooming Hoosk podcast. And I'm your host, Dustin Husky.
And I'm Ricky.
And she's a Tiggs. And thank you, Taco Cat. How was your party yesterday? Taco Cat is a Taco Cat.
He's a Taco Cat.
It's the why I wanted you to send me
what? Oh.
That one gif of a Taco Cat.
Oh.
It's like, I know who to exactly send this to. Because it's one Taco Cat to another Taco Cat.
I'll have to reply to this later. God damn it. Okay.
I don't need that. We can get rid of this.
I got
and
a note.
Telegram.
I got a note from someone I'm trying to commission, or I'm getting a commission from, and they just got back to me, and I'm like,
Yeah. There we go.
So.
All right. So, how's the weekend? Well, we went to the zoo today, the Milwaukee County Zoo. So we went nearly 6 months ago. Actually, it was 6 months ago. And about half the buildings were available. And of course, you had to wait outside, so, you stood outside and whatnot.
Yeah. Only for, like, 2 of them, though, that we saw.
Right. But
the others, like, you could just walk in and go in. So.
Whereas this time, we only had to wait twice. However, all of them were open. We went to the Burb House, which nothing's really changed, so that's kind of nice. Then we go to the mammal building, the small mammal building, and half of it's all monkeys. Half of it's all small little tiny monkeys, which is adorable.
Yeah, it was just all small monkeys. Like, I don't get it. It's like, wouldn't that be in the primate house? Like,
we lost all the lemurs. We lost all the meerkats. We lost the sub-Saharan sand dune cat. And we lost the
it was like the fennecs.
The fennec foxes.
The tiny screaming things.
And there were 4 of them. So
they were all screaming
at each other.
Probably. I wanted to see that so bad.
It's actually kind of sad when I realized that exhibition or that exhibit was no longer being used. And that's sad because they have been there for a good 10, 12 years, maybe 15, because they've been there for a long time. They were trying to get a breeding pair to make kits, which they finally did after 10 years of trying. And I believe they had a small litter, and they only kept 2 of them.
Yeah.
But now, where they went now, I don't know. Because, into the, which actually the Milwaukee County Zoo is a good zoo. It's world renowned. It's known around in the country as America's 3rd best zoo. However, I think this time they literally dropped the bar as far as what they find interesting. Now, the little macaws and, I think the macaques were in the
Macaques,
primate.
yeah.
Right. No, I think they had macaques and Timorans in the small mammal building.
It was, I think there were like lemurs and tamarins.
Right. So they had a few lemurs left over.
The macaques had their own thing, I guess. So
there may have been one lemur, but I must have not seen it. But there used to be like other of those displays, which are now fully connected, meaning animals within one display can go from the next display or sometimes even a third. And in one instance, there is an entire corner that is totally open to one display, which is insane.
Yeah.
So there used to be only 2 displays each of different small monkeys, which is adorable because it's the one that looks like a lion, just a little poofy mane, and they're adorable.
Yeah.
And the lengths of their tails are longer than their whole bodies. In fact, their tails are twice as long as their little tiny body. So they're adorable. However, it almost felt like that the building is now half small little tiny fuzzy monkeys.
And then the rest is like just nocturnal creatures.
Right. And even still.
But yeah.
I don't know. They say that there are 3,300 animals, like individually counted animals at the zoo. I feel like that was an old number from a while ago.
That must have been an old number because it didn't seem like there were 3,300 individual animals there.
I could see 2,000, but there's
maybe, yeah, but I know we didn't really see everything.
I don't think. I really don't think 3,300 is the current number because we've lost so many other animals on display to other zoos or whatnot, and it's kind of a shame because I like seeing the meerkats. They were actually very active. I actually like them. The lemurs, they were also active too. That was actually kind of fun to see them. You also saw the little tiny monkeys, and they're active as always. So we saw them today rolling about. Okay, but literally that entire wall was literally an open tube of displays that these little tiny sun monkeys can actually go from one display to another, which is unusual to see because every single window would be one animal or at least one species of animal. Yeah. Now they're sharing multiple ones, which is just...
Yeah, it was like basically you go in and then like an entire wall and then around... and then basically into like a dead end area.
Right.
It leads into a kind of a dead end kind of thing. Every single exhibit from like the front entrance, basically, all the way around to like where the main path actually goes to.
Mm-hmm.
That was all monkeys. It was all little tiny monkeys. I don't get it.
Now,
like why?
We're like best case scenario.
I just hit the table with my knee.
Yes. Best case scenario is that they do have all these animals, but they have them maybe loaned to other zoos for the time being until they get displays going. But the displays are ready to go because it doesn't seem like they're cleaning them up or dismantling them for a newer set. And the bird building was built in 1991, and it still has the placards still printed with the date 1991 on it.
Yeah.
With one part that says by the year 2000, we would lose one species of animal a day.
An hour,
yes. And it's 21 years after that time, so you can only imagine the depressing number that is. Yeah. So they don't update the building, and the displays don't get updated either. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a shame that we lost some.
I almost feel like that's common for a lot of zoos too.
It's like the interest.
They rarely update anything.
Right.
Unless it like absolutely needs to get updated.
Right. Where else I think new sets of animals get brought in maybe every 10, 20 years, go from one zoo to another to another. I know that all the pandas in the world are on loan from China. So yeah, you can get a panda from China. You couldn't legally own it like some animals where they would literally give out a title saying, hey, transferring from one zoo to another. Pandas are like the one animal in the world where for some reason the Chinese have totally capitalized on, yeah, you can loan, but you cannot ever have. Then after a time, they would want them back.
Right. Because, I mean, well, especially pandas are endangered. So
Right. So I can understand that. But the old otter display, which is different that they're using it for something else now, so there's no more water in this display, which they had fun. They were literally doing the same thing in the outside display they were doing on the inside. Literally nothing changed except now it's the outdoors.
No, they're outside.
Which
and they're still spinning in water.
Yeah, they're still spinning wet noodles
and torpedoing in water.
Torpedo otters and whatnot. However, what I think is a total downgrade of the zoo, and the zoo is supposed to be number 3. They got a sloth to replace in that display. They had 2 sloths.
2 sloths. Wow.
I didn't even see the second one because they were
both like cradled up and
sleeping,
whatever, and doing nothing because that's what sloths do.
The sun dune or the sand dune cat would walk around its cage all the time. It never stopped moving. So it's an active animal that people are going to pay attention to because it's actually literally zooming about in its own little display. Now they got a sloth, 2 sloths that look dead to the world.
I just lay there.
Sloths that in the wild
oh god,
would normally collect moss because they don't move far enough.
I was about to say that.
The moss,
yeah.
The moss would actually attach onto the sloth because they know, hey, you know what? It'll take us faster than we normally do. So, okay, Taco Cat, you have a good day. Hello, King.
Hello, kitty.
But
you're a dingus. He is a dingus.
The Taco Cat?
No,
Alpha?
King. Yeah, he's a dingus.
You heard it from me.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I had a lot of fun at the zoo. Meow. So, yeah, actually, and this, like, we went 6 months ago. We went today.
Yeah.
I don't go to the zoo very often. I enjoy the zoo. It's just I don't have the chance to really go.
Right.
I would not mind looking at other zoos in the state that I may not, or like, I didn't know if Madison had a zoo.
It did. It does.
And it's Henry Villas.
I've been to it a few times. They do change. They seem to switch the cats around a lot because there was one time they had like the tiger and like the 2 lions that they had in their respective exhibits. And then for some reason they took the tiger out, put the male lion in put one of the lions in the tiger exhibit and then left the other lion in the lion exhibit that they denoted, I guess. And then the next time I went, and I think another time I went, I think it was actually after the tiger they originally had basically died, sadly, which I was really depressed about. I'm like, no, why? And so they kind of had an empty exhibit, basically. Although, unless they moved one of the lions there for a while. But I think they have a tiger again, so that's good.
Because I think...
and then I think they only have just 1 lion still.
Because if I understand how zoos operate, they do not like to capture animals in the wild that could be better off repopulating an endangered species. Yep. Although, in the same sense, you can try to capture one to save it for the long haul ahead to more for educational purposes as well. But I believe a lot of zoos would rather have captive-born examples to be put in zoos because they know that could be sustainable. Yeah. They're not taking any animals out of nature that could be better off maybe preserving their species out in the wild, having a better chance. Because for some reason, animals in captivity don't tend to breed very well. I can maybe understand why. It took them 10 years to get 2 fennec foxes to finally do it and make a litter. That's 10 years. And they weren't sure how, because in the Milwaukee County Zoo, in the window, in the display, they had a section blacked off saying, please be quiet. This is a mating pair of fennec foxes. And I thought, oh, okay, well, they're going to have that for 6 months for this year, and they'll probably take it down in time. Nope. For the next 10 years, they had that entire part of the window blacked out with the sign that says, please be quiet. Our fennec foxes are mating, and they're trying to do their best or something. And they finally took it down when they finally got the fennec female pregnant, had, I think, like 3 or 4 kits. And they kept 2 of the kits. They sent 2 others when they're old enough to another zoo. It's actually kind of like Wolf Woods. Milwaukee had 5 to 6 wolves for the longest time until like the last year or 2. And now it's part of the giraffe and elephant. Actually, Wolf Woods no longer exists, and it's in the way that it is now. They totally revamped the land and remade it into a really, really huge complex that is the giraffe and elephant and zebra exhibition, which I think is almost too big. I mean, I understand elephants are big, but holy cow, they have a lot of space. But for maybe 1 or 2 elephants, that's almost like a lot than what they ever would need. But I guess for their own benefit. But the Wolf Woods was my favorite until they got rid of that. And the whereabout of those wolves, so it's not like they all died all sudden. It's like with some zoos, they can't get a replacement animal for the one that just passed. So often enough, they'll change that exhibition into something else.
Yeah.
That they can continue on. Elephants are pretty cool. That's a new addition to the Milwaukee County Zoo. It's just, I think, did we go into the elephant room last time? Okay, so then maybe
I don't think we did. Actually, no, we didn't even stop by that area this time around. I just realized.
For some reason, it's very, very popular, and there's always a line.
I can see that.
I don't know, maybe next time when you're over and when we get nothing else to do, we could go back to the zoo.
Yeah, right.
Look at the other things that we also kind of crossed by, because we didn't do the reptile, because we already did that back in December.
Yeah. There was a line. There was kind of a longish line for that. So.
Amazingly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had fun with the zoo and whatnot. It was a warm day, but it was not that bad.
Yeah.
But all of the vending machines were empty.
Or at least the ones we checked. I don't think... I wouldn't think all of them were, but I'm pretty sure majority of them. I'm pretty sure majority of them were empty.
Yeah.
And all cost like $3 to $4 per whatever.
For an ordinary bottle, and one of them was those aluminum cans of
energy drink. Yeah.
Of like energy drink that was like, I think it was about $3 a can, which might cost you $1 in other places.
Well, I can see a can of energy drink being like $3, honestly. Like just wherever, doesn't matter where you go.
Actually, those tend
to be expensive.
It was like this off-brand fruit water type.
Oh wait, was it that bubbly machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was $3 a can.
Good for you. Sounds kind of depressing.
However, all those proceeds, the zoo for you sounds kind of depressing. It's depressing in the fact that a lot of the animals that I kind of grew up seeing are gone.
Yeah.
It's a good zoo.
It is. I mean, it's.
I've been to the Brookfield Zoo in Brookfield, Illinois, and that's another good zoo.
I haven't been there in forever. I want to go there.
The Lincoln Park Zoo in downtown Chicago is another good zoo.
I've been there once, but I didn't really I don't remember liking that as much as Brookfield, though.
I don't have any memory of Lincoln Park Zoo, so
I want to go to Brookfield Zoo.
I wouldn't mind going back there someday just to
that would be
check
awesome.
It out. But Milwaukee County Zoo is considered to be a really, really high mark for any type of zoo. I think only Los Angeles there's some.
I could see LA.
There's some zoo
having
in
a high-
California that is number 1, and then a number 2 that I don't know what it is. But Milwaukee, I believe, is still number 3 in the country. But it's just this time there was a lot of animals I was expecting to probably see, and they weren't there. But all the burbs are there.
All the burbs are there.
And they have corrupted a kid by saying, "Oh, yeah, he floats," and it says, "Yep, that's a floating borb."
Oh yeah, that's right. You said that to like some random kid.
And the kid's like laughing. It's like, I totally corrupted this boy. He's not going to turn into a furry. He's probably going to turn into an avian. So,
oh my god!
Because it's like this one higher stilted, long-legged burb in water, where its entire body is above the water.
It was like one of the ducks, or
it was like a crane or something.
No, it was one of the ducks, or like the or a what's another waterfowl species that it looks similar to a duck, but it's not.
It's not a sandpiper.
No,
it's not sandpipers, but I haven't seen them in years.
It's been a while since I've taken ornithology in college. I can't remember.
But anyway, this one borb is clearly up above the water, totally dry, just doing a splish splash.
Yeah.
And there's a duck just deciding, you know what, I'm going to float here and I'm going to chill.
Yeah.
And all it did was literally float and free willingly just going wherever the current would take them.
Paddling its little legs.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
lazily too.
Yeah. It's just kind of like doing whatever.
And it's just floating around having fun. And yeah, and then this kid's like, "Oh, he's actually floating." Oh, it's like, "Yeah, it's a floating borb." And then I walked away. I have.
There was and then there was like the one kid that I wanted to smack.
I think everyone in line wanted to smack.
Even the guy at the door. Even the guy
who was
who
actually
was like
sarcastically saying, "You know what? We should just hire him because it seems like he would really do good with this job."
Yeah, so this kid, like in the group behind us, he was just like, "Oh, there's more people coming. Oh, there's like 2 more people coming out," because like they're kind of limiting with how many people can be in the building at the same time. So you have to keep track of how many people leave, how many people want to go in, and this kid behind us, he was like, "Oh, there's like 2 people. Oh, there's 3 people coming out." And just every single time someone comes out of the building, and it's like,
chill out.
I'm like, I wanted to smack him so hard. and the guy who was checking numbers and everything.
Right.
He was like, "Wow, I should probably hire him. I should talk to my manager."
Yeah.
Hire this kid. Because he was just kind of, he seems really enthusiastic because I'm not.
And and then 2 people left, or two people left the building.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, two
2 people left," and it's like, but there was a group of 4 before us, so it was like
a family of 4. It's like, I don't want to split them up. It's like, it's common sense. Kid doesn't understand families, or
yeah, exactly.
Considering he's part of a family, although the kid's just like, "I don't care, just send me in anyway."
Like, oh my god.
But oh my god! After a while, I was like laughing, but then I started giving you the looks of, this kid's kind of annoying, and now he is very annoying.
Yeah, and then it's like, as we were walking in, I was telling Dustin, like, I wanted to smack that kid so hard.
As soon as we walked in that door.
and then they were behind us, so like, I swear he was like, he probably just like darted wherever, so it's like,
I think that family group was literally gone before we were. Because they were no longer in the building by the time we left.
I'm pretty sure the kid just wanted to see like one thing, and that was it.
And probably got disappointed it wasn't the thing he was looking for.
Oh yeah, it's like, no, it's like when I go in like at a zoo that has like a mammal building, reptile building, aviary, whatever. I want to actually look at everything.
Yeah, it's nice.
Even if it's like boring as shit, like I want to look at everything.
I want to read the placards. It's like reading about the hippos, where when they sleep, they can sleep in water or underwater.
Underwater, yeah.
And subconsciously, without them knowing, they'll float back up, dip their head up above, dip their snoot above the water, take a breath and then come back down, and they can hold their breath for 5 minutes, then do it all over again without them even knowing it.
Yeah.
So it's fun to read, and it's kind of nice just to sit back, not have to rush things.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you want to like take pictures and stuff, especially with like the birds and like the reptiles, because like a lot of them can have really like like for birds,
colors.
They might have vibrant feather, like plumage, or just very interesting looking plumage. It doesn't have to be vibrant. Or like the reptiles or amphibians, like they can have very vibrant like scales. And
do you know that they're incredibly and highly poisonous?
Yes. Or they're just very green, like tree snakes. Tree snakes are very, very green.
Or you are a bleeding heart dove, and they're not actually bleeding.
They're not actually bleeding. It's just not marking.
Which actually on the little placard, it says...
It literally says, I'm not bleeding.
I'm not bleeding.
So funny.
It's like, I didn't get a stopping chest wound. It's just a mark.
And then there was like another... there was like another bird that like... It looks like an owl, but it's not an owl.
That's right. I forget what it's called.
It was like the frog-mouthed something. But apparently when it opens its mouth, I didn't see it, but it didn't open its mouth at all. But apparently when it opens its mouth, it opens it like a frog. So it's probably like really wide.
The image on the placard.
Is there any water Pokemon? Oh my God.
Oh.
Water animals. Well, like we mentioned, otters.
Ooters, yeah.
They're technically Water.
That one ugly bird, though, did look like Gene Simmons. Or no, Richard Simmons.
Oh my God.
I don't know why. It was just it's Richard Simmons.
In terms of aquatic animals, I don't think there were any.
Not that we saw often. We saw penguins.
There were penguins, yes. They could technically be aquatic. Otters technically as well. I know you did say
sloth is not an aquatic animal.
No, it's not.
Actually, seeing one drown. That's an awful thought, but I don't.
Would you know if it's drowning or just sleeping?
Because they don't move that very fast.
Or it just gave up.
It's like, I accept my fate. It's like, it's like not even worth.
It's like no wonder they're endangered. Oh my God.
They just get picked off just because they just don't move fast enough.
Yeah. That's insane. But yeah, in terms of aquatic animals, penguins, otters, there was a dolphin show, but wasn't there like a dolphin show?
It was a seal.
Or seal show, yeah.
There was a seal show, but we didn't walk in because
there's really
admission and whatnot.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, even last time, I don't recall like an aquarium or anything.
They do have fish, but we didn't go into because there's the reptile, fish, and
that's right. Yeah, they have. They have fish there. Yeah.
So that's all in one building.
Yes.
But we didn't decide to go in that one because that was open last time, and we were kind of just pushing towards other buildings that weren't closed or that were closed when we went.
But yeah, there was no like. This is. Well, the thing with Brookfield Zoo, like they do have aquatic animals.
Yeah.
Because I vividly remember every time I would go, because I would go, this is when I was like a little kid, and like every year we would go as part of kind of like a field trip with the daycare I was sent to every summer. We would go to Brookfield Zoo. And every time I would go, like I would be so fascinated by like the jellyfish that they had there. They just had a big tank with all these jellyfish, and they just do their jellyfish thing. They just go boop, boop. They do that, and I was so fascinated by it. And then they also had like a cool like corrugated wall that was like painted and looked all like with coral and stuff, and they had and they ran water down it, so you put your hand on it and then you can have like water like go down your hand. It's like corrugated wall. And I think at Brookfield, they do have a lot more aquatic animals, though. I don't remember what they have, though. I think they did have dolphins, at least. So
I think it'd be cool just to revisit, because the last time I went to...
I haven't been there in years.
The one and only time I ever gone to to a Boo at the Zoo.
I want to go to
Sponsored-
one of those.
Was 2013.
I want to go to one of those, but like after they, oh God, what was it? Like 2019, I think, or 2018. One year they basically wouldn't allow people to wear fursuits at the zoo for Boo at the Zoo
Oh, I
for
heard
some
of
stupid
that.
reason. And like I heard that from Fauna because she usually hosts that.
Wait, so
She kind of gets a group together to go basically. So
okay, because I
Boo
know
at the
that.
Zoo is ran by the zoo itself.
I mean,
It's just someone kind of
furries-
gathers a group together and then they
Right.
go. But
normally it's one of the Illinois, Chicago area furs that will do that.
I think
but,
Fauna did it. Must have done it like a couple years. I think I remember. I kind of remember.
because she's all the way up in near Green Bay or Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So she's like that's like a near 4-hour trip.
Yeah. But
I knew the first time it was organized was run by Jadette Wolf.
unless it's organized by someone else, but I
Although
don't know.
throughout time it's probably hosted by someone else, but normally by an Illinois fur.
Yeah.
But I do know there are Wisconsin furs that band together or carpool that will go down there.
But yeah, you can't wear fursuits now anymore.
Oh, that's so silly.
It's so stupid. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like because they think it would confuse the animals, or if it's
Confused grandma.
confuse grandma. Yeah. Or if it's the argument that a quad fur ran into with being at the Kalahari. They didn't like them. They didn't like people wearing their fursuits because they thought, oh, people would get confused that, they're like mascots for the hotel. And
Are there mascots for the hotel?
I don't think so at the Kalahari. I don't
Because
think
I
so.
don't think there's ever a hotel that even has a water
it's
park.
kind of a resort, so.
Still.
But still, it's like I don't get it.
And like, what's it, like an African themed?
Yeah, it's like African themed.
What hotel has extra money, which they already pay their workers minimum wage anyway, to do your rooms and whatnot and cooking and ancillary functions and whatnot? Who are they going to find to pay for diddly squat to be in a sweaty mascot?
Yeah,
to run around in a possibly very humid room.
Yeah.
With water.
Yeah.
I think it was just the hotel finding another excuse just to contain the furriness to just one part.
Yeah. Because they ran into so many problems at the Kalahari. So I think that was it too. It was like, they think they might be like mascots, or they might confuse the animals, but it's like I know like a group of furries have gone to Boo at the Zoo for years, like well before I even got in the fandom. And
I hosted a Boo at the Zoo at the Milwaukee County Zoo 9 years ago. And while I didn't get as many people to go because people went to the Brookfield Zoo then, but Wisconsin was a total desolate wasteland for anything furry because not much has actually happened in Wisconsin until I decided to actually do something about it. And now it's blown up into something beautiful, which is just fine and fantastic.
Furries for a zoo. Yeah, don't confuse that with
the zoophiles.
Zoophilia, no.
But I mean, it was fun to actually do the Boo at the Zoo with a whole bunch of other furries.
I kind of wanted to do that one year, and I think I couldn't just because financial reasons.
I only went once, but
I really wanted to do that, and now it's like, you can't wear we can't wear fursuit. Like you can wear any other type of like animal costume you want. It's just not fursuit.
Apparently, a fursuit is too realistic.
That's too much, apparently.
And
this cartoon dog and cartoon tiger. Okay, that's realistic.
Oh yeah, blue and white and lime green husky.
Yeah, and gray and white and green tiger. Like, wow, that's realistic.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're going to confuse that as an actual animal,
something is wrong with you.
You have to reevaluate something at the moment of. This is not a nightmare, but this is not a dream. You're not seeing anything. You just don't realize that this is an actual costume.
You can take the blue pill. You'll
Actually,
stay in Wonderland. You'll wake up.
Apparently, they took
We took the red pill. We took the blue pill.
they took some pill because obviously they just kind of like
They took
something.
They took the LSD pill.
There's now, I guess we could go on to a subject like that as far as like places where they didn't allow fursuiters to be in. There is a local Milwaukee meet, which hasn't run since the pandemic, like a lot of meets. That was the Milwaukee Round 1 meet, which is arcade, food, bowling alley, whatnot. However, the only caveat was the fursuit bodies were fine. You couldn't wear the head. It was more like a security thing.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
But then again, if it were me running that meet, I would have asked them immediately, hey, could I actually show you a video of what we do at other events to maybe change your mind? Or this is what we do. We just want to show you what goes on, and we're quite respectful, which to every fur meet that I've ever been to, we're always respectful to our hosts anyway, because we want to come back the next month.
Oh, yeah.
So we're very, very good on that. So that's not an issue. But yeah, you have a fur meet, but there's some people who would like to bring their fursuits. It's a good opportunity for it. You don't have to fursuit at every single goddamn meet there is, but hey,
people who do.
There are people that are total hardcore that they will suit anywhere and anytime.
Yeah.
And one local fur got into a huffy about thinking it was his constitutional rights to wear his fursuit head, and then being thrown out by Round 1 security because he was being quite belligerent about it.
Oh my God.
Just because he couldn't wear his fursuit head.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just give normal society more reason to hate us. Let's just go ahead and do that.
But
just pull stupid shit like that, give people more of a reason to hate us. It's fine.
I mean,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's one thing about some venues. Is it well lit enough to where people can really be stupid? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If there are venues where there's not enough lighting to make fursuiting safe, because you could roll your ankle.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to get sued because I can't see anything.
Yeah, well. I can see that.
You're covering your face by something that you can't see well with anyway. So how could that be our fault if you wear something? Mm-hmm. Some places just won't put the fursuit hat on just because they know it's a liability. And some places, which they know that their venue is safe enough that they don't have to worry about that happening, like Schwegler's and Madison. Mm-hmm. There's only really one ledge. That's between the bowling floor and the ordinary carpeted bowling alley floor.
Yep. And then, I think I think by the entrances, there's a step.
But most fursuiters don't walk outside that much.
Yeah,
and if they do, they're only going onto the cement slab to get a breath of air and then come back in.
Yeah.
There is a step going from the slab onto the actual asphalt for the parking lot. Most furs just kind of avoid that because in summer, that asphalt, if you have white feet, you're going to turn your feet different colors. Yeah. Which doesn't come out.
That means I don't want to walk on that.
Yeah.
Or I get a pair of fursuits.
Which I kind of want to make, but I don't know how to. But I kind of want to make them. Got to find a schematic on what will work. Protect your beams.
Feetsies.
So, but yeah, some events are very strict about, if we can't see your face, we don't know who you are. It's like, okay, but at that point, you may as well ban beards because you really can't see half the person's face anyway. Mm-hmm. So what does it make a difference? But I guess. Or sunglasses. Some people wear sunglasses inside, which is also kind of dumb.
That's stupid in general.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just so it's just douchey. In my opinion, just wearing sunglasses inside, it's why?
I can't see shit.
Yeah, you can't see shit indoors anyway, so it's why are you wearing them? You don't look cool. You just look like an asshole. If you were outside and it's a sunny day, that makes sense.
But you just kind of look pretentious, but for the most part, a lot of venues, when you just explain them what furry is and what fursuits are, they tend to be pretty open and warm about it.
Mm-hmm.
They will actually give you the benefit of the doubt that, okay, yeah, we can actually give this a try and see how well it works. And sometimes there are people that will show up that time of the month at that area to see the furries. It's much like my old Kenosha meet back in the day. Me and my friends organized a fur meet at Surfside Bowl, which was only open, I believe, 2 days a week, and I think it was like on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and they were hit by the economy, or they were hit by the recession hard. They never recovered. So they were taking a chance with us by finally opening on a Saturday. No, a Friday for us, because we were the first Friday of the month. And they were so successful with us because we were a weird oddity that a lot of people showed up, and more people started to bowl. And by the time that we kind of ended our telemetry with that meet, because eventually it got taken away from us by a notable furry that I'm not going to really speak his name because you know what. But anyway.
You can tell me afterwards.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think I know who it is. I just have an idea, but I could be wrong.
I whispered in my ear. I can only say confirm or... There is a possibility it could be him.
Okay.
So, but by the time that we ended our telemetry and leadership there, that bowling alley was open Monday to Friday, full time.
Mm-hmm.
Until this past pandemic, they're totally killed off.
I can see
so
that.
Actually,
pandemic killed off a lot of businesses.
The recession dwindled their opportunity to stay open, but they were still open, but only by a thread. We kind of helped them get back into relevance in the local area, which was fun. We were actually helping a business thrive, and they provided us a space to be weird. So you know what? It worked both ways. And then finally, the pandemic actually literally put the final nail in that coffin. No longer is it owned by anyone because I think they literally had to sell it. I don't think it's actually, all right, I don't know. I have to look more into that. But as far as I know, Surfside is no longer operational. So,
yeah, I think Schweller's is still operational.
I mean, they have been. It's just they've been reduced staff.
And I'm pretty sure the the Madison meets definitely helped them with business because, I mean, they really.
The thing is, I don't think Madison.
They really show their appreciation for us just being there.
The Madison meet hasn't actually operated since, I believe, May of last year.
Yeah, no, because
they've been, which apparently
that's kind of when the pandemic really started hitting everything.
It's when a lot of other events locally decided it may be safe just to take off the summer and just see where things go. And they initially wanted to come back that summer during the pandemic.
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember the Madison meet. They wanted to start that up and again, or at least try something.
And I had to
convince. And one person had to throw a little bitch fit about it.
I don't remember throwing a bitch fit.
No, there was one person who threw a bitch fit like on Twitter and everything and had this like call out post bullshit. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, just go to the host, tell them, hey, I don't think this is a good idea.
I just simply told Blazier, hey.
Instead of just blasting on Twitter and probably Facebook and to the rest of the world, like, oh, like, look at this person, like they're trying to host a meet during a pandemic and blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
it's not
they're bad. They're a bad community. And what pains me the most is that they are, I think you know who I'm talking about.
Linnea?
Yes. They consider themselves a writer.
And you know what?
And they're very queer.
I did some digging.
And they apparently have published, they're like a published author. Apparently they have published more stuff than I did, than I'm ever going to publish.
This is how many publications this person in particular that I've been able to find online for the past 3 years, which they claim to have been a writer for 15. This is the amount of publications I've been able to come up online with their name attached to it that is not only finished, but actually awarded some kind of Ursa Minor award. Beyond that, they are not the writer that they claim they are, which pisses me off because that's just falsifying what you've done. That's like me saying that, oh, I've invented the fandom before I was born. But hey, you know what? I did, and you better believe me, because you know what? Yeah. And people are going to say, well, that's bullshit because you're born in the 90s.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
the sad thing too that ticked me off the most is that
they kind of separated the local Madison area meet into 2 camps now, which I don't even know if
I have no idea. But the thing about her is that what kind of is sad is that she is the new president for the Furry Writers Guild.
Which is depressing.
Which is sad. And because the president that they had before, I think it was Mary Loud. And Mary Loud, she wrote a ton. She wrote a ton of like books, short stories. Like she has
accomplished writer.
She has credentials. And then to take her place is
an unknown.
This idiot, this bitch who that's like if saying if I want to be the president. I haven't published a goddamn thing, but I'm a writer.
You may have started finished projects for private payers.
It's just private,
but you've never actually.
I've never published anything through like Sofa Wolf or For a Planet or Weasel Press or
Fur Valley or something like that. I don't know if they're a publisher too. Maybe.
Rabbit Valley.
There we go.
Rabbit Valley.
Because I know there's 3 major ones that tend to be the biggest publishers.
Or like Thurston Howell. That's another publisher now.
Furry?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Publisher, Thurston Howell. It's like if saying, "Oh, I'm the new president now." It's like I have no credentials other than just commission work, and that's it.
I mean, you still wrote more stories start to finish than she's done.
I don't post all of them because when I did take story commissions, I asked, do you want this public or do you want it private? And some people, they either would ask me, they say, you can publish it, just don't credit me for the commission. And it's like, okay. And then some people just don't want me to flat out publish it at all. That's fair.
You get paid to do something and you're going to do exactly what they want. So as long as it's within given reason.
So, not all my story commissions that I've posted, like on FA, that's not all of them because some of them are private and some of them, they were asked to not get posted. Okay.
There's a reason why last summer I dug into researching because I'm a nerd and I love researching shit because that's just what I love doing.
You're a lot like I swear to God.
I don't know. It's a curse.
I swear to God, it's like you and Wolf Attack. It's like same, different interests, but same thing. It's like what the fuck.
I've been a furry since 2002, and eventually you'll hear just about every sort of name, either locally or out in the world. Eventually, you throw a name at me, it may or may not ring a bell, depending on how relevant they were. But if it's an older name that's been floating around, bouncing off the walls here and there for a very long time, I may have maybe heard them. Now, there are some people that have been around longer than I have that I did not know. And you know what? The more I look back, it's like, oh, yeah, they have evidence all over the place that they've been around. This one person claims to have been a furry writer, a distinguished furry writer for 15, 18 years. It's like,
I think how old was she? Like
she's the same age as me, as both of us.
She's 20. Yeah. So like
she's roughly the same age.
27, 28, 15 years.
It's possible that she's been in the fandom for as long as I have too, because people find it at any age. The problem is with that is that's like me saying that I have been an experienced machinist for 20 years and I'm only 27. So that means I've been playing around with dangerous equipment on my own.
Since you were 13.
No, since I was 7. I said 20 years.
You said 20, not 15. Well, 15, it's like, that's saying like, oh, she's been a writer since she was 13, which I can kind of see, because it's like, I know some people like who have a knack for writing. Not me, because I never started the whole writing thing till I was in college. But there's some people who they've been writing like since they were like in middle school, high school.
It's the same with artists.
Same thing with artists. It's like
some of them that have
I can see that. I can see like, oh, you've been writing for 15 years. Okay, what do you have? Oh, I have these 3 things.
That's what got me the most was
okay. So you've been writing for this long, but you only published these 3.
Find me a paper trail. Find me a paper trail of these articles that you've made apparently for Freya, like the first news and whatnot. I couldn't find her there. She is apparently a journalist for one of the major furry.
I think.
And you know what? I couldn't find anything of her work.
That's funny.
You can actually type up the other news editors of each website. You type their name, it'll tell you all of their recent articles they've done. I type her name up, nothing. I couldn't find a single thing. But then I looked online just to say, such and such works, furry. And I did find some results. But the further that I dig was only as far as 2017. Beyond that, no leads, nothing. Couldn't find a single smidge. Not just of all of her work, literally only 3 that were not only just published, but also got awarded. However, the problem that I see with these 3, it's not a whole book. It's a short story, not even a full book. These stories...
Were they in anthologies?
They were in anthologies, which the anthologies got the award for best writing. However,
that's how
I don't know if they specifically said this particular story out of this anthology is perfect. We're giving the award to this writer.
Short stories can do that. Yes, they can get like Ursa Majors or Kyoto Awards, which is kind of the more specifically for writing, the Kyoto Awards. And it's the cutest award ever because it's an actual plush coyote and it's adorable. Whereas like no other awards, it's like, oh, it's like a trophy or a medal. It's like, no, you get an actual award that says, oh, you're a Kyoto winner, and it's an actual like plush coyote, and it's adorable.
So looking at these awards, I believe one of her works was specifically awarded for her actual work. The other 2, they were award-winning, but they didn't say specifically that story, which I was thinking the whole anthology was awarded for best sources of materials brought together, but nothing specifically to
But not
her.
like, oh, this story is good. Or
only one of them was actually considered to be award-winning, which is her recent one. Beyond that, she hasn't really done a whole lot much. So I had to calm down the Madison Bowl admins about that because they were frustrated about Linea, which then I kind of like. And for some reason, they have me as not an admin, but as an advisor for some reason. And besides helping set up the original Madison meet back in the day, really, I just did nothing much. But
now that you're an advisor, you need like a fancy like robe or something.
No. That's like screw that. It's
just like with the hood and like a really like silly looking like beard. Actually, no, you're French, so you can have like a French curly mustache.
And just
emerge. And you'll be like you're an advisor.
Just kind of emerge from the darkness. I have the answer, my friends.
And then you're just randomly.
And then I just like unsheath the baguette and stab it on the table. I'm like, you know what this means? We have to do better. Do not touch my baguette. It is hard.
Oh my god. Damn.
So, but I had to convince the other admins last year to not actually do the meets because I said, with one other fur, can I join? What's the code? You already here. Hello.
There is no code or anything.
This is just a live stream. It's just literally just us talking to the user. But I was trying to convince the other admins who wanted to do a meet last year. And I kind of said, look, with the protests going on, with a lot of people out and about, there are, of course, furries going out in these protests as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the pandemic is still ongoing, and it's not even getting it. The worst of it didn't even appear yet at that point. So I was trying to convince the admins to say, hey, look, please try to reconsider this because this is your responsibility as a meet organizer. There's a reason why I'm not running my bonfire meets because you know what? I don't feel like I can handle the responsibility of knowing that all my local friends in one area, I'm putting them right in the path of a speeding freight train that is a disease. And having any of them get horribly sick from that because they showed up to one of my meets is something that it would kill me. It would be something that I wouldn't know if I'd be able to run for meets for a while just because I know that I've hurt people. I was trying to prevent that with other events, knowing that, hey, we can wait this out. We can be a bit patient. People don't need to go back to meets right away. Cons have already started, not do their events that year because you know what? They know, hey, this is kind of an act of God, so we're going to use that clause in the contract to say, hey, I'm sure you don't want 3,000 people at your hotel for a weekend during a pandemic.
Right, yeah.
And the hotel's like, yeah, you know what, we have that clause. So, yeah, let's actually hold that off for next year. It's not going to penalize you too much, but it's got to happen next year, which some cons are doing it.
Yeah, some cons are.
But I was trying to hold them off, and luckily me and one other fur did. And this year they were considering sometime in June or in July they might maybe reconsider, but I don't know because I'm not an admin. I can suggest things. I can't vote on them, which I am the only person in this group that apparently is like that. It's like, well,
you can suggest things, but you can't.
No. I can only just.
Oh no.
I can just only Hoosk talk, and then
you can only talk.
But that's okay though, because oh, dude, I would just only Hoosk scream. Then they might kick me out, and then they will do what they will do. Determination of all the terms. But yeah, it's just it's just meets are fun. It's just they're gonna come back. You just got to be patient about them. I would love to run a meet. It's just
I know you do.
I mean, I've been running meets since 2012, and I've been joking to a lot of people a few years ago. You know what I could use? A vacation of me not doing so many meets at once. Because at the most, I may have only done 4 to 5 meets in a month, which is insane.
Who's can talk? I'm getting more water.
Okay. I didn't think the vacation would actually happen in the form of a pandemic. So, yeah, I guess I got the vacation that I wanted for a while because when you do meets for so long as I have done them, they will wear you out. The idea is to have a bit of me time, which I wasn't doing for the last few years leading up to then, and then, it burns you out only slightly. The love of doing them keeps you going. It's just the exhaustion is what kind of beats you down. But, pandemic allows me to at least look at my options and what I should do and what I shouldn't do. And that should probably help advance the meets further on into the future. And Tig has water.
I'm like oddly craving root beer after having that root beer.
It sounds like some really good root beer. I don't even know how root beer is made, but I'm sure it's what's in the description: root and then beer. Is it fermented like beer?
I think it is. I think it is fermented like beer, but
is it from like
obviously non-alcoholic and carbonated?
Right.
I don't know what it's made out of, though.
Which actually, if you were to ferment, it had to be some form of alcohol anyway. Because the fermentation is what allows it to be alcoholic. It's like...
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
In some cases, yeah. I'm sure there maybe is a process that prohibits it being alcoholic and just makes it a tasting drink. I don't know. Because it's like, you can ferment rice. You get sake. You can ferment barley and oats and whatnot. Now you get beer. You can ferment potatoes. You get grain alcohol, also known as vodka. So all these little things, with fermentation and time, you make booze. I feel like maybe the roots, I don't know. I just don't know how it's exactly made.
Oh, I guess... I
could look at my phone, but I have it in my pants, and I don't want to take it out.
Huh.
Are you looking at the creation?
I just from like this little bit on Wikipedia, it's traditionally made using the root bark of the sassafras tree or the vine of Smilax ornata, or otherwise known as sarsaparilla, as the primary flavor. It's typically, but not exclusively, non-alcoholic, caffeine-free, sweet, and carbonated. So it can be alcoholic, just not all the time. And
if
apparently,
you add yeast to it.
Apparently, it's as North American as the indigenous people, because apparently the indigenous peoples in the Americas
also
made sassafras root beverages. Maybe it's not. Cool. Maybe they didn't call it, root beer, but it was made similarly, apparently, for culinary and medicinal reasons. And then the Europeans arrive, and then they applied their techniques, and then it ends up basically
being the root beer that we know.
Being the root beer today, basically.
Because what's interesting is that in Europe, I don't remember anyone ordering or finding beverage root beer. It's just not something that the Europeans would care to know or care to have. But in North America, it's just a very North American thing.
So it probably used to be like alcoholic. Just it was one of the very on the low end of like you barely feel it, basically.
Kvass.
Yeah, like kvass.
Which is so low on the octane.
On the alcohol that it's considered a non-alcoholic drink in a lot of Slavic countries.
Which is considered to be less than 0.5% is considered to be non-alcoholic, or is it 1% or 0.5?
It's been commercial. I guess it's been commercially sold since like the 1890s.
So industrially, it's been around for a long time.
Industrially, it's been around for 100 years, but like the beverage itself
predates
white
settlers, and
basically. Yeah.
So that means that for as long as there has been Native American culture, there is a possibility that root beer in that form has been around for that long.
A lot of even, indigenous ancient cultures, they made some sort of alcoholic drink.
Oh, they had
they had to. Because water is gross. Well, it was gross. Like, there was no way to, like, clean it or purify it.
The Romans, they drank wine on a daily basis because you know what? Yeah, it was safer than drinking the water because there's no way to purify it. Besides boiling it, you can purify water by boiling it. But if you don't have the time, but you just want to drink something that's safe and fun, get yourself loaded and plastered. Mm-hmm. Drink booze.
Even a lot of Middle Eastern Mediterranean cultures drink wine exclusively.
Right.
And again, for, medicinal and I guess in some ways spiritual reasons.
Because, you actually have to really, really wonder. All cultures have made some form of bread. Yeah. With bread, you could potentially make booze in the form of beer.
Yeah. Usually it's beer. Of course, some cultures it's wine because I'm sure it's like, hey, maybe they had plenty of grapes to use, so.
I would be
any grapes or berries. I mean, I'm sure it was made out of berries.
I would be hard pressed that if the Native American culture had not made some form of actual alcoholic drink prior to knowing the white settlers, the white man, and his spirits and whatnot. I'd be really hard pressed that they hadn't done that as well, but to a smaller degree.
Probably.
Probably for more ritual purposes. But,
it's like ritual medicinal.
Right. But not to the more like the entertainment and enjoyment factor that booze is known for now.
Yeah.
But back then, some booze was either, let's say, it's you're drinking wine, so you're practically drinking just water because you're drinking it like water.
You got like wine, beer, mead, which is kind of the more sweeter.
There's a huge reason why in the Wild West in this country that most people drank because the well water was not safe enough to drink unless you were to boil it long enough to kill anything that's in it. Still, it was not clean or clear enough to still drink it as is, whereas beer is not so bad, but some people don't like it, and that's okay. But in the Wild West, the only water you could probably get is from the horse's trough. Or you got water to make the booze, which then through the fermentation and the process, the vapors go up, collect, and then you get the raw booze in steam form, which is probably the safest thing you could possibly do. Because you're boiling the impurities out anyway. The booze is probably the safest drink you could probably drink in the Wild West. And some of the moonshine and whiskey and brandy and gin that they made was probably so high octane. There's a reason why they gave you small shot glasses, because I'm sure 2 of them would get you blitzed out of your mind. Which, or it's like something from Back to the Future, like Part 3, where they go back to 1885. And didn't like Marty McFly order something like, hey, can I get ice water or something? Ice water? You're better off drinking out of the horse trough. Or else,
something like that.
Literally handed him like a shot glass of whiskey, poured it down, dropped, tapped it on the table, and then slid it towards him. And as the shot glass stopped moving, a bit of it spills out, lands on the table, and literally not vaporizes, but literally evaporates into steam because it's just hot. I guess stereotypically hot for the Old West, but literally booze is the center brick to society because you hate your enemies, but you want to make friends. You get everyone shit-faced. And then when everyone else is all shit-faced, then you steal their stuff, but they don't know until the next day. But seriously though, like booze is literally like the building block of society. Without booze, I don't think people would have gotten along a lot better. And people would probably get a lot more sick more often just because they're drinking the water without it being, literally purified in a chemical sense, which wouldn't come about until really the turn of the century. And the only way to really purify water is to boil it, and often enough, the best way to collect it is to make it into steam, collect it into another jar that's just pure water and whatever you just mixed it with, and then go blind. Like with moonshine. The reason why moonshine is illegal because it's so high octane that if you drink enough of it, you could go blind. And plus 2, people would buy it because it's not taxable. And I think booze is supposed to be taxable. But frankly, you know what? If you make bathtub moonshine, have fun. It's just you're going to see a lot of weird things on the astral plane. More likely, you're just going to go blind, like that one episode of Beverly Hillbillies. No, it's the Squidbillies or something like that.
What?
That weird show. And they were drinking some kind of corn alcohol, and they gave it to some other dude, and it's like, oh my god, I'm blind. Oh yeah, I told you not to drink too much of it. But Yeah, fun stuff. And then today you got surprised with lunch that you ordered 10 chicken nuggets from Oscar's.
It was 10 chicken tenders.
Oh yeah, and
because I was like really hungry, and like the only options were 3 or 10, and I'm like, well, 3 is kind of like a snack, so I guess I'll just do 10.
And you were thinking like ordinary size chicken tenders, which between restaurants they can vary from yay much to yay. And not only were they yay long, they were stacked.
They were thick.
Yeah, they were stacked and thick. Because you made a mention about the 5 barbecue sauce packets that they gave and say, holy shit, I don't need this much. And
I was surprised.
Finally, like, got it. It's like, oh, I understand.
I was surprised at how many sauce packets I got because I was not expecting to get that many.
And that's what they gave you initially.
Yeah.
Like, you could have asked for more.
Yeah.
You know how some places will give you 1 sauce packet, say, well, do you need more? Oh, sure. And they would throw 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
Like, this place gave you 5 right off the bat. It's like, you're probably going to need this. If you like your sauce, you're going to need more of it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. But we need to go there.
Yes, we'll have to go there later tonight when it's a little bit more cooler, and who knows, maybe do another bonfire. It'll still be nice enough for that. Yeah. Finally, for once, it's not cold enough at night to where it's like, oh, my nipples, they're sticking out Empire State Building along.
Yeah.
So Oscars is a really, really nice place. I don't know where it's kind of based out of, but they're
I wonder if it's like a local chain.
It could be. It just could be a local chain. But their burgers, their Borgs are just absolutely amazing. In fact, I saved an order sheet. You're looking at us in reverse land, but this is Oscars. And they got a little ice cream cone on it. And look at that. If you're a 2021 graduate, they will signify that with a hot dog. And it's got a little head, it's all dancing because it's got like it's got like musical notes and confetti and whatnot. And apparently the dog is farting. Seriously though, I don't know what that would mean if it's just like, oh, the dog is zooming. But
no, I think it's farting.
I seriously think it's farting.
Oh my god!
It's like a sausage dog can run pretty fast, but that could also mean that it could be like ripping ass. So they're a burger and custard joint. So of course you get your fries, cheddar cheese fries, chili cheese fries. Ooh. Your mozzarella sticks, which are good. Onion rings. Their homemade chili is great, and their soups. Their soups are good.
Yeah, they must be a local chain because they only have 3 locations listed on their site.
So it's literally just a local Milwaukee chain.
Yeah. Yeah, one in Waukesha, one in West Dallas, which is the one we went to, and then one in Franklin.
Yeah, that's pretty much
that's all in the Milwaukee area. So yeah.
So I think there's really only 3 chains.
3 branches.
So for like burgers, cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger, mushroom Swiss. Apparently, California burger is your 2 buns, the meat patty, and apparently it's just lettuce, tomato, and mayo.
Lettuce, tomato, and mayo.
It doesn't say anything else. And then I had the big O, which is Thousand Island dressing, mustard, pickle, raw onion, lettuce, and tomato, which was actually quite nice. And their patty melt is really good, which is literally shredded beef with melted Swiss cheese and sauteed onions on rye bread. And then they have chili dogs. They have salads. They got chicken and fish specialties. You can order your malts and shakes or sundaes. Let's see. One whole page alone is just literally just their specials on ice cream and shake.
That is amazing.
And they do one special variety a day for each month. So this is a June of 2022 menu. They probably update it monthly. And every day, the shake of the month becomes
It's the Sunday of the month.
something. Oh yeah, it totally goes on into wow. Huh. So they literally do a special every single damn day, and it's just fun. Their soups are good. I actually had their soups. They're pretty good actually. They sell coffee.
Apparently,
I'm totally surprised about that. I'm not surprised, but I'm also
there?
Yeah, they have hot tea and coffee for $1.
Oh fuck! I might get that with my ice cream.
Let's see. So what do you like to order from there? Well,
that's the first time I've been there, so yeah.
I like my Borgs. I like to get a medium fry.
He's the local. I'm not. So
Really, all their food is just really, really good. In fact, they have a website. Visit us. Okay, so I'm just gonna type this up. So all of my listeners. Also, I am not sponsored by OscarsCustard.com. That is.
They have a model train layout at their Franklin location. What the fuck?
They what?
Changes
Oh,
with the seasons.
okay, that's dope.
That's dope. Except Franklin's probably way out there.
Actually, it's only 20 minutes away.
Oh wait, no, isn't that where your dad lives?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad lives in Franklin.
I'm dumb. I don't know this area.
Oscars. Custard. All right, so anyone out in listener land can look at that website and just take a look at their menu and whatnot. They may have pictures because I never bother to look at their website, but you can actually just peruse. I like to keep a sheet, so in case if I feel hungry, wanted to go out, I know exactly what to order instead of having to wait. But ordinarily their menus don't change, but some of their specials do. But yeah, I am looking forward to go back to that because a cone or a dish just sounds really nice. Their shakes are amazing. I had their shakes. My third last day at my old company, me and the mythical Torpedo, who is as large as a mountain, and as strong as a mountain. We just call him Torpedo, and we totally forgot the reason why we started calling him Torpedo. Apparently, we had a dream once where, for some reason, we were attacking a ship on the high ocean, and we decided to damn the torpedoes, and turned out he just swam right out of the tube with a really, really perverted, evil grin. And a ship was no more, and that's when we started calling him Torpedo. And I don't even know if that's the real actual story.
Probably not.
For actually a really large guy, he can run. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Well,
because you would think, hey, he weighs about 270. Okay, all right. You think you may have a chance to run away from him because he's Torpedo. He may be heavy as mountain, so you might get away from him. No, he is lightning fast. It is quite terrifying because I was running away from him once and he was right behind me. Oh my God. It's like, haha, I almost got you. Like, oh shit, I didn't realize you caught up to me. But yeah, oh my God, yeah, their shakes are amazing. Now, I like Culver's. Anything Culver's is kind of spread across the country, I think. I know in the Midwest, they're everywhere now. While Culver's has good burgers, Oscar's is less greasy. I can pick up an Oscar's burger and not have my whole hands.
I've never thought Culver's burgers is really greasy. Well, I don't know. It's been a while.
They taste equally the same. It's just any single time that I pick up a Culver's burger, which they're all delicious, but if I put it down and look at my hands like, wow, I could probably smear this on a pan to cook eggs with because it's just enough butter just to like wipe down the pan with it and say, wow, there's still more on it, and I don't know why. But Oscars, same amount of tastiness, just less grease to hold. The grease is already in the burger, but you're not actually holding it. It's actually kind of nice. Do they have any spicy food there? Love me some spicy food. You know, let's find out.
Probably.
Cajun chicken. Spicy blackened chicken breast, Creole, mustard sauce, lettuce, tomato, and onion. It is a sandwich. Let's see. They have a Cajun chicken salad. They may not have much in terms of spiciness, but if it's Cajun, I'm sure it's definitely going to burn your face. It's probably going to be very tasty at the same time. So, chicken tenderloins. That's 3 pieces for $5. 10 pieces for $12. You know what? I still think that is a steal because the amount of chicken you got.
Yeah,
that was impressive. I thought that was my burger at first.
I know, I did too.
I thought so too. It's like, wait a minute, this is actually chicken. I
can see like, the burgers being freaking huge, but
that's what I thought so too. And then I realized, whoa, this is actually yours.
I was like, wait, this is mine? Oh,
and then I found out that, the fries and my burger were in a smaller bag.
It's like wow. What the fuck? That's weird. That's backwards.
But Tiggs was very happy with chicken tenders.
I was. No, we're not screwing.
Oh. Yeah, we were thinking about having ice cream immediately.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other like, we're kind of full and kind of don't want to do anything right now.
Oh.
Tiggs wants another root beer.
I know. That was good. It's been a while since I've had, just straight up root beer.
Do they actually have a root beer float?
They do. I looked. But it was weird how, on their menu, at least in the restaurant, their menu was set up because it's root beer and soda floats, and it's had root beer and Pepsi on one side, and then it had different flavors of ice cream on the other side. But one of them wasn't vanilla, which is weird because usually you have vanilla ice cream with root beer to have root beer float.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying because I do see the root beer. Just looking for root beer float. I'm sure you could just say, hey, root beer float, and say, you got it. And just root beer, and then a big giant scoop of ice cream. There we go. You got it, boss.
No, see, I'm pretty sure it's just no, it's probably a big scoop, another big scoop,
and then a small amount of root beer.
And then the rest root beer to fill in the gaps.
That's
and then I'll finish it and then just slam it on the floor and just shatter the mug because it's usually in a mug. Just shatter the mug. Just another.
Oh, this is really good. I'll have another. Sorry, you can't keep smashing. I'll do what the hell I want. Give me another. Or I'll lay pitchfork fire the next village next door. Please don't do it again. Please, sir. No. Just give him another root beer float. See, this man is talking sense.
Yeah.
And then, in the course of being in this restaurant, you start growing massive beards. Oh, yes. Oh, this would be good. Malts and shakes.
See, that wouldn't do it for me.
So just be just big boobage. And then,
I'm okay with that.
And then suddenly you're getting head-sized boobage. It's I am satisfied. Now to smack people with these puppies, and then just literally double hand and then smash someone in the face, someone that I used to know.
It's I just drink it and just wow, I didn't know root beer had estrogen in it.
If that was really the case.
If that was the case, I'd drink it all the time.
I think so many people would say, well, screw the pills. I'm just going to keep buying this.
I'm just going to keep drinking root beer.
I'm buying
it'll burp a lot, but fuck it. Oh, my God.
My mind is a sick one.
I want that now.
But I can just imagine someone sitting down with 2 of them. and like just like two straws like going into their mouth, and then it cuts down to like their chest, and like they just sucking in.
Oh my god!
Okay, wait.
What?
Okay, so you know how kids blow bubbles in their soda?
Yes.
So someone does
I'm
that.
guessing you did that.
Yes, and so imagine if like someone doing that. Okay, so then like their breasts are like, oh yeah, but then they start blowing bubbles now, and then suddenly just like jiggles like an earthquake or something. It's like, ha ha, they jiggle.
What the fuck? I'm not getting.
I should be a fire alarm because these things would clang.
I'm not
dead.
getting. I'm not getting giant anime titties. Okay. I'm not getting like giant gyro anime titties.
Okay, so
no.
okay, so
No. I don't want. No, not that big or unrealistic.
oh wait, that's a butt. I don't need.
I want my. Oh fuck! I'm getting tired. Jesus. I don't mind that either.
So okay, so imagine the first 2 seconds. Wait. Fuck. So imagine that someone's running after you, and it's just that.
Oh my god.
Maybe I should show, but then I just get.
You get banned from YouTube.
You know what? I'm gonna do one thing. I'm gonna play the audio, and I'm just gonna describe one thing about it, so that I don't get banned from YouTube forever. All right. Here it goes. Oh wait, I have to turn it up.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
I'm going.
That'd be helpful.
Oh god, it is all the way up now. Okay.
It's probably gonna be loud as all hell.
That is the sound of boobs. But the first 2 seconds of that is like, imagine if someone's running after you with like a long sword and whatnot. It's like, oh my god, I mean boobs, but holy cow, a long sword.
God.
I am just a sick, twisted, demented mind, and some people
Yes,
think that's amazing, and it is, and it's terrifying.
It is.
And I don't know why. It just
is. Oh my god.
But yeah, local small chains are so fun. I don't know if Five Guys is a Wisconsin local or it could be like a regional one, but I know Five Guys.
I think Five Guys is more like a regional thing.
Oh, okay. Five Guys make some really good fries for some reason. I like the fries. They're crispy, salty, a little oily, but they crunch just nice. Whereas if you go to like McDonald's, you got to eat them up in like the first 5 minutes because otherwise they go stale. I don't know why. That's why I'm normally eating my fries first before I go for the burger, because the burger stays warm enough and long enough that I can still enjoy it. But if I'm getting McDonald's fries, it's the first thing that's going in my mouth, because if I let it sit, then it feels like I'm like eating salted, oily cardboard.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, so I guess Five Guys is like all over the U.S.
Oh, cool.
Because I'm seeing like locations, like a ton of locations, just scattered everywhere. But apparently they've only been around since like '86.
So relative, I guess newer. And apparently new summer hours for Oscars is 10:30 a.m. to midnight every single day, which is kind of nice. So I used to run a laser tag meet before the pandemic. When I started this meet at this venue, the very first summer, they were doing a 4-hour all-you-can-play special. You paid $21, but there were four 15-minute games each hour that you could keep playing. In theory, you could keep playing 16 games of laser tag for 4 hours straight if you wanted to, which, to be honest, is good value because I think paying $35 for 5 games, you're getting your laser tag fix. And initially, they had the special from 9 o'clock. I think it was like 9 o'clock to like midnight, which was really dope. Then the following summer, when they brought back the special, they only did it from 9 o'clock to 11. Now they close at 11. It's like, oh, come on, at least give us that extra hour. But no, it wasn't. Although I think someday I would like to bring that meet back when it's safe to do so. But there is one meet I would not mind kind of doing, like a private event. It's my you went with me to the arcade.
Yes.
Now that's a fun arcade, and it's like the biggest in my area. There's one in, well, not like a arcade chain, but there are other purpose-made arcade businesses, like one in Madison. There's, of course, one in Menominee Falls. That's the arcade. There's one in Downers Grove, or it's Oswego, or is it Belvedere or Brookfield? I don't know, but it's called the Galloping Ghost, and that's like the biggest arcade east of the Mississippi River. That's a fun one. The prices keep going up, but they have like several hundred games all crammed together. It's warm in the winter because all the games are running and whatnot, so they produce a lot of heat. So you shed your coat, then eventually you shed your sweater and whatnot. In the summer, because their AC doesn't work that well, they have fans running all over the place. So you're like sweating and whatnot. There I am, just absolutely just playing Tempest like a fucking nut. And, sweat's going down my eyes, but I don't want to die. So I just keep going and I just keep staring. It's like, oh, my eyes, they burn. But I got to keep going. And it's just fun to actually suffer a little bit having fun with arcades. Having 300, 400, 500 arcade cabinets running at the same time, producing so much heat that it's the sun. But it's fun, though. It's been a while since I've been there, but the first time I played there was like 7 years ago. It's like $15 to get in. The only caveat was once you left the building, you couldn't get back in. Then you had to pay another $15 to keep playing. So what I ended up doing was played there for like 6-8 hours, then finally get out, feeling hungry, go to the Chinese store next door, and then just munch and then drive home. The arcade does one better. I think you still pay, I think it was $15 or $20.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
The fun bit about the arcade, because they give you a little wristband too. You can then leave for any undetermined amount of time, come back. As long as you still wear the wristband, you can still keep playing because you've already paid. So the arcade, there is a Chinese buffet next door. And the one time where me and Kurdan went to the arcade, we played for like 5-6 hours, got hungry, went to Chinese restaurant next door, got fat, then walked back into the arcade and say, can we still like play? And like, oh yeah, as long as you still have them on your wrist, you can keep playing. And we kept playing for like another 3 hours. That was a long day, but it was a lot of fun. And remember the selection of games? There was half as many back then. This was like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Now the number of games, I was actually quite shocked because only the back wall and only half of it on that one side for like pinball machines. Now it's all pinball machines. They didn't have that many before, which was insane. King, you should probably look in your area to see if there's any actual arcade businesses that do sort of thing.
I'm sure there is with where he lives. Because I know where he lives. Technically, I'm not gonna say it. I know where you live. I'm sure there's like arcades and
Beverly Hills.
No,
that's where I want to be.
No,
and then just pop there, and then swim in someone's pool.
He doesn't live there. He's not that fancy.
Aww.
He doesn't live in.
You should still crash in Beverly Hills and just swim in someone's pool.
Just crash someone's house.
hey man, I want to use your pool, and they're gonna say, oh, yeah, that's it, it's okay. Hey, I'll make you a margarita, and then they'll also jump in the pool with you. Yeah. And they're like, do we actually know you? Like, no. But hey, margarita. But
and then they'll ask, like, do you want to like be in like a show or a movie? Like,
dude,
oh my God. Ask you that.
Hey, I'm actually a producer, and I'm looking for an actor. Do you have any acting experience? And like, yes, I do.
No. Yeah.
I did the acting, and I did it good. So what did you do in the past? Death of a salesman. I was the suitcase. But California sounds fun.
It sounds like it would be like a cool like state to visit.
Right. I don't know if I want to live there.
I wouldn't want to live there. I wouldn't want to live there.
I would love, if I had the chance, do like something I would do to visit Europe. Probably stay there 2 weeks just to see the sights and enjoy the view, the sights, the smells, the tastes, and maybe like find Guy Fieri and just literally just jump in the back seat of his car, go on a set with him without him actually knowing. And as soon as he pulls up to a diners, drive-ins, and dives, and he pulls up into a parking lot, then I just jump out the back seat and start running in one direction while the show is being, aired. And like, well, what happened to him? I don't know, but next on Diners, Drives, and Dives, we try to fathom what just happened. And then, him eating this huge giant burger, and then it's like a cutscene of like a Hoosk like nibbling on like a chicken or something. Somewhere in the background and like in the corner, it's like, oh hey, why is that Hoosk doing there? Oh wait a minute, it's the same Hoosk. You, sir, what are you doing here? And how did you run away from Guy Fieri's car? It's like, I saw food, and then I zoomed. And then I zoomed. But yeah, I'm like, I think visiting California would be fun because I've never been there. The furthest west I have ever gone in this country, Wyoming. And really,
you still have me beat. Because the farthest west I've been is like St. Louis.
Oh, Missouri?
St. Louis, maybe, or Minneapolis. Either one of those, unless they're roughly kind of the same amount west. But I've never, and I guess Dubuque.
Okay.
If you call that. That's basically the farthest west I've been. It's like that. It's basically like just on the other side of the Mississippi, basically. That's how far west I've been. I haven't been to like any of the plain states. I haven't been to through any of the West Coast or like the Southwest states. I've never been to any of those.
Normally, I only travel by car within this country because you know what? I just do. However, that one rare time where I visited the country's penis.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah. I am so glad you got that reference. And that's the only time.
It needs to be cut off.
Just Florida floating off into the distance. It's like, I have my penis.
Need to pull a Bugs Bunny. And just saw off
Florida.
And watch it float away into the Gulf.
Oh no! Get that penis away from me! Says Cuba.
I forgot why. Like I remember, I don't know what
the context of that.
Yeah, the context of that. Like, what tune was that in?
What was the whole reason why?
Why did Bugs Bunny decide to literally cut off Florida and have it float away into the Gulf or Atlantic Ocean? I don't remember that.
Only Bugs Bunny knows.
Yes.
Only Bugs Bunny knows. And for some reason, he had a really good.
He was pissed off at Florida.
he physically yeeted Florida away. And you know what? Florida was okay about it.
Well, Florida's fucking dumb anyway. I know there's like, some Florida furs that it's like, yeah, they're good people, but
I've been to Florida once. It was quite nice, but I was walking through a pool the whole time. And I did not set foot in a pool either. It was just literally humid.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
I have a friend who's living down there, and he's moving from fucking Alaska of all places down to Florida.
That's a total
Why
clash.
Why the fuck? I mean, I understand if you're kind of getting sick of like winter, like intense winter weather, but
for
for
8 months of the whole year.
For like.
And then for the remaining 4, it feels like fall.
It's actual like summer, maybe.
And the highest it'll be is like 60.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to live in Alaska just because it's too kind of remote. There is a furry community up in Alaska. There's just so isolated. They just kind of do their own thing. I think the only thing...
It's mostly in like Anchorage, pretty much.
Juneau, maybe. That's about it. Fairbanks. Beyond that, there's not much to go on in Alaska until they start making a fur con.
Yeah.
And I think about 90% of all of its attendees are going to be Alaskans.
Oh, I'm sure.
No. 45% is going to be Alaskans. 45% is going to be Canadians. The 5% is going to be... No, wait a minute. 45 and 45 is 90. I can't math. The other 10% are probably going to be from the contingent United States. Mm-hmm. To say, I finally have a reason to go to Alaska.
Yep.
I don't know if there's actually a con in Alaska, but they need to get on something like that.
Well, I know there's not really a fur con for Hawaii.
No.
And I actually know a fur who lives in Hawaii, and he just... There really isn't any like con or I don't even think meetups.
I think you're kind of screwed if you live in Hawaii because you have different islands and you have to take a boat to get to each one, which means you're taking time off to see or do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think literally each island in Hawaii has its own furry community and identity.
Yeah,
unlike the rest of the country and Canada, we all kind of like intermingle and whatnot because we all somewhat connected by land. Alaska, same thing. Yeah, you're touching Canada, like we touch Canada, but you touch Canada in a different spot.
Yeah.
But Hawaii
is like...
You have like 5-6 major islands.
Yep.
But there's a reason why they're islands. They don't touch each other. But each one does its own thing, I'm sure. And I'm sure each one has maybe one fur meet, if any. Yeah. Or if you live in Hawaii... and you're a furry, I think you'd be the most bored furry there is because there are not many of you out there.
I mean, I know there's like Hawaiian furs, like they exist. I am kind of more acquaintances with one. And actually another, he's apparently Hawaiian and he gets a lot of art of Isona and Crystal from Star Fox. Ulti Fox.
Okay.
He's a fox. He's a male fox who has a blue Speedo and has long hair and always gets a lot of porn of his Sona. And anytime he's screwing someone else, it's usually Crystal from Star Fox. And he gets a gargantuan amount of art. It's insane. Like, just constant art of his character. Just constant. It's like, oh my God, how can you have this much money and to spend? Why? Like, it's insane. Like, it's just constant
Maybe
art.
they do.
They probably do. But apparently they're from Hawaii. So
maybe they don't. And they just take a bank loan.
That could be it too, because I don't see furries as very financially responsible people.
The few of us are.
The few of us that are don't have jack shit to our name.
There are a lot of furs, like one, for example, I'm not going to mention her name because I'm not going to mention her name. There was one furry who was telling me what she would need to do with $20 of her own money. She needs to either A, fill up her car with gas to get her through the rest of the week, or should she, and this is after Valentine's Day, which is a silly holiday because, I don't know, to me it's kind of fake, but that's just something else.
It's fucking stupid.
She is deciding, and she doesn't know which to choose, a tank of gas or discount bags of candy. Like giant discount fuck-off bags of candy.
The choice is obvious.
You know what she picked?
The fucking candy. That's
yeah. And within about 2 days, she was pissing and moaning about not having enough gas to get to school. I kind of just told her, you know what? You need to still drive around. The gas is more useful right now until your next paycheck, which was a week after. So until then, she only had $20. And I figured, hey, gas is more important. Still get to school. Do whatever you need to do. And just wait it out until your next check. Nope. My own, it's not really opinion, but like my own perspective just doesn't really matter because she asked me what I should do. So she's like, okay, you're wanting to ask me. Nope. It doesn't even matter in the end because you ended up getting candy anyway. And she was kind of eating it while she was also being pissed off about it. So it's like, oh, oof. Yeah, I was trying to help you. And it didn't work.
I felt like I just got dumber hearing about this.
Yeah.
Like, wow, how?
This is also the same person.
How?
So, you know, when you get a new job, you want to impress the new boss because for some reason you need to show that you're
You need to kiss the boss's ass and then and then later you just kind of just stop caring.
And she's a college student like I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She then gotten a job at Myers, which had just opened up. So it was a brand new store. And initially it was part-time work, but she then got a bit more confident and started taking more hours and then just flat out telling her manager, hey, I'll work any hours, any shift that you want me to. Oh, you tell any manager.
You will get taken advantage of.
She did. So, yeah, she was making some good bang for a college student because you know what? Yeah, you're making money. But also she had no time for herself, for her friends, or really anything. She had time for school, she had time for work, and she had time for sleep. And that's kind of what she did. And then she was like angrily like wondering what's going on in the world that this is happening. And I remembered the phone call because she was telling her manager on the phone, hey, I'll take any shift anytime to make more money. And I can only imagine the guy said, oh, sure, we can do that. And literally scheduled her every single night because she had second or third shift or something like that. And she just did that. It's like, oh, I would have never said that. I'd say, hey, can you up my hours and just leave it at that? But she was desperate because she wanted more cash. And manager's like, oh, you got it. And we didn't see her much. And then she's just getting a lot more crab ass and whatnot as the job went on. And I think she was only there for 4 months and crashed and burned and then quit because realizing it was getting out of control, which you just said you want to work as much hours as you can and then realize this is a bit too much along with juggling school, which school was an interesting time because I had time for fun, but I had a lot of my time set to actually get work done. And then once I got work done, then I had fun. So I was the very, very book nerd, bookworm Hoosk that I actually did my homework.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to be working all the time while going to school.
Right.
Especially when like you start taking harder classes where it's like you basically have to spend more time outside the classroom studying.
Yeah.
Or doing homework or practice problems, whatever. It also depends on the class. than spending time inside the classroom.
Right.
So,
and what I ended up doing was I wanted to mostly get about 80% or more of my homework done at school, then do the rest of it at home that didn't take so long. Or sometimes I'm just better off doing everything all at once and then having the rest of my evening off, which I did pretty well. A lot of
my days usually went.
And even some of the more harder class, I just ended up hanging out with friends at the table. I did my homework, but I was multitasking by listening, engaging, and whatnot, but doing homework. So, worked out fine. And all of my other friends at the table were all complaining about, oh my God, I got so much homework. Oh, can I pay you to like do my homework and whatnot? It's like, I barely have enough time.
Wow.
Sometimes to myself, but you're asking me now to do your homework.
Even if I had time, I'd say no. Because it's like, no, I'm not.
I don't need to do people's homework. I don't mind helping someone with understanding something.
Yeah, it's like if you need help understanding something, that's one thing. But like, I'm not doing my homework.
I'm not
homework for you.
I will do maybe 1 or 2 or 3 problems to help you understand it, but I'm going to let you do the rest. I'm going to do the good Hoosk work by literally doing every single goddamn step on a piece of paper. And if you can understand that, then you can do the rest of this. It's just you need to go through the lists, and I'm even numbering them, each one, which one they should do next to understand the problem. I'm like, oh my God, you're such a nerd. I am a nerd. And just, but some of these friends, which bless their hearts, they're fun to be with, but holy cow, they're bad college students.
Oh, I bet.
They were there to mostly...
Sounds like it.
They were there to mostly fuck around, which... I'm going to be honest. I went to school. I still kind of fucked around. But I was also doing my work at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I fucked around when I'm able to fuck around, which then allowed my friends to think, oh, I can fuck around too. But then without really realizing that, oh, yeah, the reason why that I can fuck around is that I got my work done. And now that inspires others, oh, I can do the same. But I'm not going to do the work because I worry about that later. And then later it came around and it's like, oh, fuck. I'm like, well, what's wrong? I had all week to do this homework and it's due next hour. It's like, oh, that sucks. In my mind, I'm saying, oh, you fucked up. You should have done this a week ago.
Yeah, I think I got to a point where I just didn't really care about other people. Because like I might do that, like, oh, fuck, and then think, oh, well, you're screwed. And then it's like I think as I just got on with life, it was I just flat out would say that. Like, well, you're fucked. That's or it's like, oh well, not my problem. That sounds like a you problem.
I actually had to say that to one of my friends who was always writing her papers late. Meaning 2 hours, 3 hours before it's due, and then typing and bullshitting it up and whatnot, and then them asking me, hey, can you help? It's like, well, I can help brainstorm ideas for you, but I'm not going to type it down. If I have nothing else better to do, sure, I'll help brainstorm with you, but I'm not touching your keyboard. I'm just going to let you do that. And I think eventually ended up saying, I remember you saying you've had this assignment from like a week or 2 ago about an English paper, and now you're doing it now. You really should have started it last week, or started out 80% the first day or first few days, then flush it out the next 2 weeks. It's just, to me, it's like people don't know how to manage their time. And while they're totally worried about in the next 3 hours, they're going to hand in an incomplete assignment, they're also totally scatterbrained and they're just really bullshitting around like as if nothing's going on. It's like, weren't you just worried about trying to get something done through like in 3 hours, and now you're kind of like fucking around, like as if nothing's going on? Because there was one time where they say, hey, can you help me? And I had nothing else to do. And I said, you know what? Sure. I'll help you, only on one condition. I am not doing it for you. I will help you, but I will refuse to type it for you.
Mm.
And I forget what their subject was really about, but I was like brainstorming good ideas, just fun things that, okay, as a potential reader, what am I going to be reading about? Can we talk more about this? Can we talk more about that? Okay, giving good ideas to help the person type a bit to inspire them to write in their own words what they want to do. No, I couldn't even do that. This person was so ADD to the extreme.
Oh God.
Turns out that they still went to class, not finishing it up, didn't even bother printing it, then telling the teacher, hey, can I get an extension? And they end up saying, sure. So it's like, okay, so now you got an extension on overdue homework, which now you only get 80% of the grade now, or some, well, most teachers say, no, fuck you. You should have gotten this done 2 weeks ago. And you were telling me this now. No. Some will say, okay, you'll take a 5% hit. So even your best work, you'll get only 95%. Some will say, hey, if your best work is 100%, I will take 20% out and you just get that because of the late credit. But you'll still get credited for it, but you're still fucked. It turned out on that late extension, they still didn't do it. Oh, God. Oh, so crunchy.
Oh, yeah. I'm like getting really tired.
Aw.
I've just been sick.
Well, we are going at it for nearly 2 hours,
Very
which
good.
is kind of like, the limit to what these things tend to be anyway, because 2 hours is a good length for it.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably go get custard and then probably sit outside because it's still quite nice out.
Custard.
Custard.
And if they have coffee there, like
also, too,
getting that.
before we left Oscars, there was a Hoosk.
Yes.
And I was like,
yes, we saw Hoosk. He was very excited to see the Hoosk. And he wanted to pet it. And I said, no, we need to go home.
And then the owner gave the Hooska an ice cream and licked the ice cream. Then the owner ate from the ice cream and then gave the rest to the dog. It's like, wow, that's some dedication.
I know. Oh God, I know. I think Culver's does this, but there's a like kind of a local ice cream place in Sycamore that me and my mom would stop at like all the time after baseball games. And sometimes she'd bring our dog Gracie with to these baseball games, and then we have ice cream. And then we get an ice cream dish with a little dog treat on it,
mm-hmm.
and then give it to our dog, and then she'd like lick it up and eat the thing. And at Starbucks, you can get a puppuccino.
Aww.
And it's literally just still it's like some dog treat with I think it's really just like foam, I think. Maybe it's like actual like maybe like a tiny bit of coffee, but like I think it's mostly just the whipped cream.
I don't like
kind of like an actual frappuccino because it's mostly sugar and not much coffee.
As long as it's not chocolate, I'm sure a dog could just digest it just well. Probably not in good large quantities like we can drink it, but I'm sure a dog could definitely lap up a small amount of coffee and make them wired up to hell.
But it that's also comes with like a lot of like whipped cream in there and then like a dog treat on top.
So that's adorable.
It is.
But it's been so far the day. And this weekend is our 1 year anniversary, so it's just fun just to hang out again because it's been a little while because last month was insane for a whole lot of other things.
He was busy last month every weekend, so I was yachting. He used to, but yeah, he was busy every week last month or weekend. So we kind of just put last month off in terms of hanging out.
Yeah.
And figured this month it's like, it's our 1 year anniversary, so we can do the weekend before.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it would have been fun to do Pride Fest.
It would have. That would have been the weekend before this That would have been last weekend, basically. So.
I mean, I wouldn't have mind at that point, like having you over last weekend, do Pride Fest, then probably have me visit because at that point you would have come here from Milwaukee for Pride Fest. Then I probably would have gone there for anniversary and probably do something else, like go to the Madison Zoo, which I think next time I visit you, I think it'd just be fun just to go take a look at the zoo there.
And and pretty much right next to it is the Arboretum. So, we can just do that like immediately after. Because basically the road that you have to go to exit the zoo, basically, you basically go out that road, you turn right, and then the entrance to the Arboretum is like right there. So it's kind of cool in that sense. So, there is that too.
We'll definitely have to we'll have to plan that out. Is it a big zoo?
Not terribly, but I mean it's not like small either. You can pretty much see everything like if you basically go in a circle. Except for like one little section which is kind of like the Arctic animals / like North American plains animals that kind of like juts out on one end. Otherwise, everything else you can go like in a circle basically and be able to see everything. So it's not too difficult of a zoo to navigate. So
I'm sure we could probably do something like that afterwards. Just it depends on how humid and hot that day is. Because today we got lucky. It was 86 degrees, but we had a low humidity of like 35. It's not 90, it's 35, which means we're not walking through a pool and it doesn't feel, because with the heat index with humidity, it may feel like it's like 95 or even 100 with 90% humidity, which is just insane. It felt actually lower than it was, which was kind of nice. So, but if it's not hot as balls, then we could do more walking around back there. I've experienced one heat wave, and it was maybe the deadliest heat wave I've ever been in, and that was the European heat wave of 2003, where I don't know, I'm going to lowball a number and then I'm going to high roll a number. I think 10,000 people died in France to maybe 56,000 people died in France in one summer alone from heat exhaustion. And that's just one country alone. I think there were other countries that also had similar numbers of deaths of people because it was 110 degrees every day, every night, constantly for about like 2 weeks.
Damn.
And only 40% of European residences, private homes or apartments had air conditioning.
Oh yeah.
And
right.
The majority of all air conditioners tend to be found in cars, and not everyone had a car with an air conditioner, let alone had a car if you live in the city. So that is the worst heat wave I've ever experienced. I bought a bag of ice from around the corner. Within 10 minutes, that bag of ice was a bag of water. That was that bad. I was instructed to buy a bag of ice so that we can have ice water. Nope.
No, you're just going to have warm water.
It was literally a tube of water. Within 10 minutes, just wet, warm tube of water. Wow. With no ice. Actually, at that point, when I reached the apartment door on the bottom level, it was already it was still chill, but it was no longer an ice form. It was just awful. like the only time that I've ever seen confusion and chaos at a hospital on the news before the pandemic was watching French hospitals literally trying to save dying people from exhaustion by putting ice cubes on their tummies to cool down their core. The sale of AC units literally just evaporated in terms of sales. Everything that was out there to be bought was bought. People who were repairing AC units, you had several weeks of like repairmen on a list of like who's going to get their AC units repaired for their house, their car, a mobile unit, whatever. And ordinary fans that you plug a cord in the wall, put a fan in to cool down a room. Literally everything was bought out. We were lucky to have one fan in the apartment. Apartment had no AC because it was made in 1966, and it was never retrofitted with air conditioning, and it still wasn't, or it still isn't. And I don't even think my uncle's car, a Renault Megane, I don't even think his car was equipped with air conditioning, so we literally sweated that whole summer. I think the only time where we ever experienced air conditioning was at my cousin Mireille and Jean-Claude in Naves in France. No, it is the La Rochelle. So mountainous region of France. They have actual in-house air conditioning. They're the only family members in Europe that I know that has actual air conditioning in their homes. The only time that we've had air conditioning anywhere besides that was on the train going from Paris to Uzers, to the countryside. That's it. That was a really warm summer. I wanted to go play outside because American jungle gyms, they're kind of nice. But if we're going to go with D&D levels of fun, I would say the American jungle gym is like a level 3, maybe a level 4. European jungle gyms are like a level like 8 or 9 because they're multi-story tall. And kids are entrusted with their own lives to not fall from 3 stories on a jungle gym.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and you know what? Not a single kid actually just jumped to their death. It's just more like, oh, yeah, I fell. But since you lodged yourself into the jungle gym itself, it cushions your blow, but now your armpits hurt, but you go play anyway. And I wanted to go play on these jungle gyms because these things are legendary. They're so much more fun. They will literally just amazing. But since it was so hot, touching any of the metal, the rubber, the plastic and whatnot was just so scalding hot. It was not worth me having 3rd-degree burns on my hands, nor did they want me to be a heat stroke victim because people who were outside the longest or elderly people were the ones that died from this heat wave. So literally there was no one outside that summer. And we were there for 2 months, and that was the longest 2 months I've ever experienced in Europe. Because it was started off as 70, 80-degree days, which is okay. Europe, all right, makes sense. Then it got into the 90s. Okay, that's to be expected. Probably the highs for the while, and then it's probably going to drop. Maybe a few 100-degree days, and then it's going to drop from there. No. Then when you hear 45 degrees centigrade for every single day and every single night, that's when we entered hell. We never bothered opening the sheets on the beds. We literally slept on the beds for like 2 weeks. We never even bothered to even get in the covers because it would be too warm. Yeah, that heat wave sucked. That heat wave really, really sucked. And we were lucky to have one fan. Some of our neighbors weren't so lucky. They didn't have a single fan at all. So yeah, go on Wikipedia and just type up 2003 European heat wave, and you'll know what went on because that was bad. It was also a bad year because my uncle passed away that year in November. And apparently, well, he was dying from leukemia, and we didn't even know. The doctor diagnosed him for constipation. So they gave him constipation medication when he should have been getting treatment for leukemia. And then by the time that they found his actual reason why he was getting sick, turned out to be leukemia. It was already too late. And actually, no, we visited him in November. He died a few months later in January of 2004, and that was pretty rough. But he wasn't faring well with that heat either, so we were worried about him that summer. So that was the first time where I was worried about a family member. So, yeah. Otherwise, I can handle heat after that. After that point in time, I've never really. I will complain about heat if it's got humidity to it. I think that was actually only a dry heat. I don't think there was any humidity. It was just magnified that it was just always 110. I believe the paint on some cars were combusting in the sunlight just because the paint solution was already flammable. And after a certain melt, not a hot point or heat point, of flash point. After a certain flash point, the paint would just self-combust because it's just, yeah. So some of the older cars on the roads at that time were death traps because they literally combusted on fire, whether stationary or moving. They just went on fire. Yeah. Oh my God, that was bad. I think we tried going to a beach to cool off. And it was a nude beach. And I was 10 years old at the time, and I was questioning why everyone was naked. Then I questioned, should I be naked? I really thought long about that, and I said, nah, I'm going to keep my shorts on because this is kind of weird. But it turns out I was the weird one for keeping my shorts on.
Yeah.
Nude beach. But good times, though, because we were swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. That was good. That was fun. Yeah, that not fun. So the heat now, I can deal with that. Today wasn't that bad, actually. I'm just worried that July is going to be like roasting. Because normally we're never this warm in June anyway. But anyway, do you have anything else to say, Ricky?
Not
Besides wanting custard?
Not really.
Okay. That's probably a good time to probably end this.
Yeah.
So thank you, King, for tuning in once again. And one other person that also replied.
At
and
one point I saw there were like 3 people watching. So
yes.
But I'm sure like maybe eventually, like people click like, oh, it was a live stream, and
There's actually quite a lot of people that do watch these after they.
I'm sure.
Because these are getting more popular than the pre-recorded ones, so we just decided, you know what, they're just going to be live streamed from this point on. It's just would like to get more viewer interaction as far as like videos and this and that. It's just would just like to learn more about that in time. But right now, live streaming on YouTube is my preferred way to go. So anyway, this is another episode of the Zooming Hoosk podcast. And I am your host, Dustin Husky.
And I'm Ricky.
She's a Tig.
I am Tig.
And we saw Tig today. And
I did see a Tig, and it loafed.
And it loafed very, very regally.
Yes.
It was like, hi, I'm a Tig. Look at me.
And I saw
the bean. Oh, yes.
I saw the beans.
The beans were quite
cute.
You wanted to touch them.
I did.
Aww.
To touch
the beans. All right, Alpha, we'll catch you next time.
Yep.
And we'll catch you all next episode.
Bye.
Bye.